Yeah, I thought just talking about last week's game, I thought definitely our best performance overall as a group. Proud of how our guys, really responded. First couple drives of the game, they had a little bit of momentum, and I think once we settled in, started putting our kids in some better situations. I thought that first drive was huge to be able to rise up and hold them to a field goal. As a defense, I think the hardest drive of a game is the first drive. I think it puts the most stress. You're going to get, a lot of new things, a lot of stuff you haven't shown them, different things you hadn't worked. And so I was proud of how our kids responded right there early. And then, I felt like for the most part, after we settled in after the first couple drives, we played pretty good football. I thought we fit up the run really well. We had they took 7 vertical shots, got behind us on 2 of them, and that's something that we got to get fixed, because if they hit us on one of those 2, both of them, it's a different ball game right there. I think third down wise, we gave up a couple key third and long conversions early, and then after that settled in and ended up meeting our goal of our 66 percentage goal on third down. So overall, really pleased. Thought our kids rose up, responded. That's the football that we know and expect our guys, and a standard that we want to hold them to. Late touchdown late was a little bit frustrating with some of the guys in that don't get as much playing time, and just called them out today. You get an opportunity to get in the game. We can't let a 60-yard touchdown run pop when the game's over. Obviously, I think our older guys were upset about it too, and rightfully so. But just pleased with how we played. Really start to finish. Thought it was a solid ball game, and definitely I think our best showing of the year, considering the quality opponent.
Hey, Scott, when you look at this season and Javon Scruggs, I've noticed the past few weeks he's missed a couple of tackles, which are uncharacteristic for him. But outside of that, how would you evaluate how he has played so far through 5 games?
Well, we've got more depth, number one. So Rocket's a really good player. Feel like as he's come along and learned the defense, and Coach Curtis and I have more and more confidence in him. Those guys would both start at most Group of 5 schools in the country, and so Scruggs is a guy that he puts a lot on his body in the course of a season. Has worn him down in the past, and so we're blessed and fortunate to be healthy at that position where we can share some reps, and I think that makes us better as a group. I think Scruggs has played well. I don't think it was his best game Saturday, and I think he would tell you that. Some opportunities were left on the field, but overall, I mean, he is the one of the leaders of our defense, and does a great job being consistent. I think the biggest thing about Scruggs is consistent in his approach, and that's what always puts him in position to make plays. But he definitely got some things that he knows he's got to work on, slowing some things down, making some of those tackles for sure, finishing an opportunity. We had a Story's pick, I really felt like sealed the game at that point. But with 2 other balls, one hit us, basically straight in the gut, and the other one right in the hands, and we got to finish those. We finished both those plays, and I think this game's over really quite a bit earlier. If we can capitalize on those. So, and that's been a big point of emphasis. Takeaways is something I've kind of just said I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. We've been preaching it. It's a mentality. Our guys are trying to get the ball out. You can see how many more shots on ball we have. We haven't finished some opportunities, and so I feel like I've kind of jinxed us a little bit with it. One of those things, like the more we talk about it, the less it happens. But yeah, overall, pleased with where he's at, pleased with where Rocket's at. I think those are 2 really steady guys, and vital players for us on defense. Other guys just that I thought played really well, just talk about it positionally. I thought our D-line, I thought Ralph's and Elijah played a lot more snaps than they're used to, and I thought they really dominated up front. I mean, that was a really good O-line, and I thought we out-physicaled them. I thought they played really well on the inside. Another guy that stepped up and played a huge role was Chris Body. I mean, Chris Body played over 20 snaps. That center was an all-conference center, and Chris Body was very dominant when he was in there, and I think that was huge for us. Kendi goes down with an ankle sprain early, so we really only had 3 D tackles the whole game. I thought at DN, Trayshawn played really well. I thought there was a couple opportunities that we could have finished some more plays off at Bandit. Some TFLs that we missed. I thought Akil's play on that 3rd and long screen was one of the bigger plays in the game. It was an unbelievable effort play. I thought Darrell had a great effort play on a 3rd down scramble. Linebacker-wise, really proud of how Story played. Obviously the sack, the pick, the tackles, but just really proud of how he prepared. I thought he prepared the right way, set him down after last week, said, hey, we got to get better at these things. There was no finger pointing. He's a guy that's very humble. He wants to get better. He wants to learn, and came out and played at a really high level, so looking to build on that. I think at the Mike backer position, we were very physical. We just got to be a little bit more consistent there, with Ahmad in particular when he's in there. So, corner-wise, I thought we did a good job, minus 2 deep balls that got behind us. And that's just, the thing that Coach Hunley stressed was, by game plan, knowing where 11 was, by formation, all the indicators that we talked about happened on the 2 balls where he got behind us. And, we just got to be able to go execute the game plan that, coaches have prepared the guys with. But I thought we made some key plays. I thought Chris Megason tackled well. I thought D-Lowe's 3rd and 5 PBU was a big play in the game. So I think there was a lot of positives there. Safety-wise, I thought Quentin Reese had his best game tackling. I thought Ced Stone did some really nice things for us. Had a good tackle over the middle on a boot. And then Skyler and Treadwell I both thought played really well. There just wasn't a lot of action. But I thought Skyler's PBU on the scramble on the 3rd down was a big play in the game as well. So, overall I thought as a group we played our best game. Not a perfect game. Definitely a lot of areas to improve on. Boot game, there were multiple times that we let crossers come free, on easy 8 to 10 yard throw and catch completions. That's something that we'll see a lot this week, with their quarterback. Talking about middle, so areas we definitely got to get cleaned up, but a lot of positives.
Your defense has been pretty close to elite in the 3rd quarters this season. I think you've only given up 1 touchdown there to Syracuse, a little bit over a week ago. What do you think has led to that? Is it adjustments you guys have made at halftime, or things you've seen in the first half? And also, how the other side of that equation, how do you maybe try to get the guys ready for the first couple drives of the game? I know you mentioned the first drive of the game is one of the most difficult, but if you could just speak to that.
Yeah, I think the first drive of the game, you look at it. I mean, Campbell, we were good the first drive of the game. Troy, we weren't. ODU, I believe we held. They might have had a field goal. I don't think they scored, but I might not be correct on that, John. I think being multiple in the first drive, we tried to probably be a little bit too cute on the first drive. You felt like, all right, opening day stadium, they're going to come out, big play shot early, and we guessed right on a couple and put our guys in some good situations. We clouded a corner when they were trying to take a shot to the X in the plus territory, but I called some field pressure on some things that weren't the best calls either. So I think once we settled in and just played within the game plan, and I did a better job of calling it, and our staff all the way around, I think we were better. So, but I think it's the hardest drive of the game, just because you got to be ready to adjust. I think second half, us playing better, I would like to think is a testament to our coaching staff being able to make adjustments. I think we have really good assistant coaches that relate really well with our kids, and I think it's ability of our kids to be able to handle those adjustments. And sometimes it's not adjustments. Sometimes we're not doing anything wrong. Hey, it's just let's come out. I think it's a little bit of motivation and getting a pulse for the guys at halftime. We walked in the locker room at halftime, and I had no doubt we were going to win the game, and I could look in their eye and knew they had no doubt we were going to win the game. And there really wasn't, honestly, a lot to be said other than getting a couple things cleaned up. So I think every game is different. I think when the first half doesn't go well, it's our job as a coaching staff to be able to calm them down, to regroup, to refocus, and come back out and play a second half of good football. So. I think our staff's worked, a long time together, and so a lot of those things we try to handle in the game. We're trying to make adjustments, but one of the things with our offense is a lot of times they score quick too. So you might have a laundry list of adjustments you're trying to make, if we didn't get off the field quick and we have 9 plays and we're trying to cover them, and we might only hit 3 in a drive before we have to go back out there. And so, we have a checklist of things, and we're trying to make sure we get it corrected because, if it's successful, an offense is going to go back to it, So, we know that, but I think it's a testament to our assistant coaches that we have, and then just, our kids being coachable.
Scott, you mentioned Chris Body and the amount of snaps he played, and you and Josh both talked very highly of him in training camp about how he seemed to be picking up the defense and how he's furthest along among the freshmen. And was this the type of production that you were expecting out of him when he did get his opportunities this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think any guy gets an opportunity to play that we feel comfortable and confident in putting in a game, we expect to be able to make plays, whether it's Chris Body, whether it's Steven Sings last year, Ahmad Walker. I don't think just because you're a freshman that doesn't define your Christian Zachary, your level of being able to come in and play responsibility football. He's a very talented young man. I think he's improved throughout practice. Obviously, the younger a kid is, the more exponential growth process, right? So he's going to continue to get better and better and better versus a guy like, Trayshawn Clark, who's played in every game since we've been here. I mean, he knows what to do. It's just going out and execute. Not to say that he can't get better, but obviously, Chris has a high ceiling just because he's so young. But I thought it was awesome to see the way not only he did his job, but just the technique and the ability to hold up against, a good solid O-line. And I think he'll be, a great player here in the future for time, for years to come. So, we're a little bit nicked up in that room. And so not having Henry, losing Kendi, it's next man up, and we got to be that way as a defense. That's really the only position group where we're a little bit short right now. And hopefully I think we'll have a chance to get some of those guys back this week. But we've got to have that mentality, and I think great units have that. Whoever's the next man up, has got to be ready.
What about MTSU? I know they're coming off a big win against Marshall and probably feeling pretty good about it. And I know they had to switch quarterbacks, this season so far. What type of challenges do they present on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I think they're an RPO-based offense. So obviously, plus we see that in practice, but I think they do it well. I think Cunningham, the quarterback, gives them a different element, with the +1 run game that they didn't have. So now the ability to run the quarterback, to run RPOs, to get them outside of the pocket, boot, sprint out, some of those different things, areas that, we struggled with last week. Obviously, I would expect them to attack us with this next week. And then they do a great job, finding ways to get vertical shots on you. I think the strength of their team, I think the quarterback's a good player. I think he's efficient. I think he's a really good runner. But I think the strength of their team, to me, when I watch them on film, they're really fast. Their skill is really good. I would say comparable to our wideouts as far as just the speed in the slots that you're going to see. So I think they pose a big-time challenge. Like you said, they just beat a team that, played for the CUSA championship, last season. Marshall's a solid football team. And so they've scored points on the large majority of teams that they've played. And so, it's going to be another big test for us to, play sound fundamental football. And, we just got to build on focusing on us. That's the most important thing, to us as a staff right now is, last week we had one penalty on defense. I thought we played disciplined football. We tackled better. It wasn't to our expectation or our liking completely, but compared to the week before. So, I think we got to always come back to the foundation of who we are and emphasizing those things, the effort, the tackling, the fundamentals, within the framework of the defense. But running back-wise, these guys, 44 is an enormous running back, 6'1", 230, looks like he's 250 on film, runs downhill between the tackles. They'll do some wildcat stuff with him as well. 34 is their other back, so they've got both those backs are very powerful. 34 is, a more 5'10", 200-pound back. So, between the two of them, just the ability to have a physical run game. And then tight end-wise, 6 is, a tight end / receiver, kind of a flex guy like a Johnny, guy that they'll utilize in the core, out of the core, and pose some different matchup problems there. And then, like I said, the receivers pretty solid. I think the O-line's very big. Look like they got decent size to me. I think I think they're a solid group all the way around. I mean, they're averaging 30-something points a game, so that lets you know where they're at.
Scott, when you look at their running game, you look at the numbers, and they're only averaging 99 yards per game. But then with Mobley, number 44, having a $132 against Marshall, is he key for them in terms of that big body being able to run downhill and really give them an opportunity to really allow that RPO game to flourish more?
Well, I think that, and I think the ability to run the quarterback, they're different now. From Hockman with Cunningham. They just, we played Hockman last year, so we kind of knew, what he was like. But Cunningham can really run. So now you're talking about, yes, they have powerful backs, but you've got an added element of the ability to run the quarterback and +1 run game. So now that creates a whole nother layer to me of their offense. So now we got to prepare for, all the zone read issues, and then all the other different types of, Q counters, power read, things that you're going to get, as well as the ability to throw RPOs, boot, sprint out, and still have the ability to max protect. So I think it just makes their offense even more multiple once you have a quarterback that's not stagnant in the pocket.